private cloud. VPC is a virtual private cloud. So can we say VPC is like a virtual, VPC is like a virtual data center in cloud? Cloud? Yes, it is. Okay. So VPC is regional or global? VPC is regional, and maximum how many VPCs? Maximum 5 VPCs per region. Maximum 5 VPCs per region. Okay. Do you all agree that we already have a default VPC? We have already have a already have a default VPC provided by AWS. This we know, and we are doing it every day. Okay. Now, what I'll be doing is, guys, I will put you one diagram. Okay, one architecture, one diagram here. So see this diagram for 1 minute, and then try to put it in the chat. What are the things that you can see it there in single line? Okay. See this diagram. And tell me what are the things that you can see it. I'll give you a minute. Yes, perfect. So we have a VPC section, right? And these elastic IPs, all these are all fine. And you have a concept called internet gateway here. You have a concept of public subnet and private subnet at the bottom. You have a router and you have route tables and all, right? So let's take one by one. The first thing is VPC that we're going to talk about. And then here we have internet gateway. We have public and private subnets, right? NAT gateway, and router with routing tables. Guys, I want this order to be remembered. Write down first order, VPC. Write down VPC, everyone. Put it in chat. VPC, everyone. First, we need to create a VPC. After that, we need to create internet gateway. We'll talk one by one, but remember the order. First VPC, next internet gateway, next public and private subnets, next NAT gateway, and routing tables. So this is the order and flow that you should remember, the first thing. Okay, so VPC is the one which we'll be talking about. Let's talk about internet gateway. So guys, internet gateway is here. Internet gateway is here. See. What is the use of internet gateway? Guys, tell me, whenever you launch an EC2 instance, we have logged into that EC2 instance many times, correct? We have logged into Windows machine, we have logged into Linux machines. Can you tell me, do you get internet from that EC2 instance? Do you have internet from the TC2 instance? Do we have internet from the TC2 instance? Obviously, yes, we have. Otherwise, we have download the patches, packages. We have internet access. No, okay. So you have launched an EC2 instance in the VPC, and by default, you are having the internet access. Who is the guy providing internet access to your entire VPC? Is Internet Gateway. Is that Internet Gateway? So Internet Gateway is the guy who provides internet to the VPC. So till now we have using default VPCs. From now onwards, we'll be creating our own VPCs. So we'll create a VPC and then we need to create an internet gateway and attach it to VPC. Write down that word. Create internet gateway, attach it to VPC. Write down that word. Create internet gateway and attach it to VPC. In shortcut, you can put IG. Okay. So guys, you need to create a VPC first, and then you need to create internet gateway, and that internet gateway you need to attach it to VPC. If you attach it to the VPC, then only you will get internet access to that entire VPC. So if anyone asks you which is the component which provides internet to your VPC, then you should say it's IGW, Internet Gateway. So Internet Gateway provides internet to the VPC. Internet Gateway provides internet to the VPC. Okay, what is the next thing that we should talk about? Public and private subnets, correct? Okay, there are two types of subnets, guys. What are those? There are two types of subnets, public and private subnets. There are two types of subnets, public and private subnets. So you know very well what is public subnet and private subnet, correct, guys? So anything that is exposed to internet, the subnet which is exposed to the internet is called public. And then which is not exposed is called private. So let's say you have answer. Tell me, load balancer should be in public or private? Obviously, it should be public because everyone had to hit the load balancer. Okay, you have database servers. It should be public or private? Just in case you are putting web servers, public or private. So it depends, no? So whatever you want to expose it to the internet, you can just put it in public. Whatever you don't want to expose to the internet, you put it in private. Simple. Get it? What is public subnet? Public subnet. Public subnet is which is exposed to internet, which is exposed to the internet. It is exposed to the internet. What is private subnet? Which is not exposed to the internet. Which is not exposed to the internet. Make sense? Getting it? Don't get new things, Prasanna. Just listen what we are talking about. Yeah. So we'll talk. Don't get confused. So which is not exposed to the internet. Is this clear till here, everyone? Whatever we have discussed? Slowly, smoothly. Okay. So now here, see, we have public subnet on top, we have private subnet on bottom. Okay, public subnet, private subnet. So all the traffic, guys, all the traffic in the public subnet is routing to where? Internet gateway, because this is one of the catch, guys. So public subnet traffic is routed to internet gateway. Write down. Guys, everything here, whatever the traffic which is coming inside the public subnet, to which it is routing to the internet gateway, because that is the internet gateway, no, which is exposed to the internet. That's why we public subnets will be attached to the internet gateway. Public subnets are attached to the internet gateway. So public subnet traffic is routed to internet gateway. Guys, what is your answer? Public subnet traffic is routed to public subnet traffic is routed to. If you don't, everyone put it, I will not go forward. Simple. Okay. So that is one catch. So public subnet traffic is routed to public subnet traffic is routed to IGW, Internet Gateway. Good. Now public subnet is routing to the Internet Gateway. That is good. So whatever the EC2 instance, what are the components that you launch inside the public subnet, they'll have internet access. How the traffic is going? The traffic is going through Internet Gateway. We have learned. And how about the private subnet, guys? So we have the private subnet. Do you need internet access to the private subnet? Obviously, yes. We need to have internet access to also the private subnet. But can I route all the traffic from the private subnet to internet gateway? So if I route it to the internet gateway, why it will become private? It will become public subnet again, because it is directly exposed to the internet. So I should not directly expose my private subnet to the internet. For that reason, I have a concept called NAT gateway. I have a concept of NAT gateway. So all the private, see, what is NAT? NAT is Network Address Translator. The full form of NAT is Network Address Translator. Network Address Translator. You know what this will do is, NAT is used to, guys, provide internet access to the private subnet. Agree? NAT is used to provide internet to the private subnet. The job of NAT is to provide internet to the private subnet, guys. Who will provide internet to the public subnet? All the traffic is routed to, for the public subnet. Public subnet traffic is routed to internet gateway. Private subnet traffic is routed to NAT gateway. Private subnet traffic is routed to NAT gateway. Very important. Private subnet traffic is routed to NAT gateway. Routed to NAT gateway. Okay, so what does the NAT do? So guys, simply blindly, if you want to have internet access from the private subnet, the answer is it will be provided by NAT. What does the NAT do? So NAT, basically it will, guys, all the traffic from your private subnet is going and hitting it to the NAT gateway. What does the NAT gateway do? Guys, the traffic is going with this private IP. Yes or no? The traffic is going with the private IP and hitting the NAT gateway. The NAT gateway, what it does it do is, it will convert this private IP to public IP. And then the request will go to the internet gateway. So it is not exposing the private IP addresses directly to the internet. So it will convert. That's why it's called network address translator. So it will convert this private IP to public IP, and using the public IP, it will go and hit it to the internet. If any hacker comes it through internet gateway, and he will come with that IP and he'll stuck here in the NAT gateway, he cannot move forward because the IP address got changed. Understand? So what does the NAT do? NAT converts NAT converts private IP to public IP. Private IP to public IP. The job of NAT is it will convert the private IP to the public IP. So the question here is, where now you tell me the NAT gateway should be in public subnet or private subnet? In public. Why? The reason here is, if you put the NAT gateway here in private subnet, do we have internet connection to that? So that is the reason why we have kept the NAT gateway in public subnet, because it should have internet connection. So that is another catch. Tell me, NAT gateway should be inside in which subnet? NAT gateway should be in public subnet. Getting it? Getting it? Everyone? Okay, answer me now. So public subnet traffic is routed to internet gateway. Private subnet traffic is routed to NAT gateway. NAT gateway should be in public subnet or private subnet? Public subnet. Okay, NAT gateway should have one elastic IP. One IP should be attached. Should I give public IP or elastic IP? Elastic, because guys, NAT is a network component. It is always good to give the static IP, not the dynamic. Okay, super good. So now, so who is the guy who will say, hey, private subnet traffic go to NAT, public subnet traffic go to internet gateway? Who is the guy who will be telling all these things? Who is the guy who will be sending all this traffic? Yes, router. So router is the guy who will be sending the traffic here and there. So, but here, as like Cisco, you no need to create any routers. There is no concept of router at all, right? So the concept here is only routing tables. There are two types of routing tables. One is public routing table, public RT and private RT. Write down. There are two types of routing table. What are the two types of routing tables? What are the two types of routing tables you have? Public routing table and private routing table. Okay, now let me write what is public routing table. So public RT, public routing table, you tell me, guys, you tell me. All traffic is routed to, in public routing table, all traffic is routed to. Super. All traffic is routed to internet gateway. Super. And also tell me, which subnet should be associated to this public routing table? Which subnet? Which subnet should be associated to this public routing table? Public subnet. Super. Public subnet is associated to. Okay. Yes. So I'll put it away. Public subnet should be associated. Everyone agree? In routing tables, routing table, all traffic is routed to internet gateway and public subnet should be associated. And how about private routing table? In private routing table, all traffic is routed to NAT. Which subnet is associated? Super. Guys, you understood? You understood the logic? If you understood till here, VPC is done. Is this clear till here, everyone? The pulse? right? So here, do you see this? Here we have how many routing tables are there? This is one routing table and this is another routing table, correct? So one routing table is associated to public subnet. This routing table is associated to private subnet. And what does the routing table has? Routes. What does the routing table has? Routes. So here, do you see this? All traffic in public subnet, all traffic is routed to internet gateway. In private routing table, all traffic is routed to NAT gateway. That meaning whatever the traffic is generated here in the private subnet, all this traffic is routing to NAT gateway to get internet access. Getting it? All traffic which is happening inside this public subnet is routed to NAT gateway. So that is the guy, routing table is the guy who is, it is like a traffic police where he'll say that, okay, you guys go this side, you guys go this side, you guys go this side, stop it here. So all the directions will be given by this. How to go the path will be given by this routing tables. Is this clear till here, everyone? So by having this knowledge, so guys, we need to go and create a VPC setup. So I'll give you 7 steps to set up the VPC that should fix in your brains. The first is, what is the first thing that we need to do? Create VPC, correct? Next thing, second thing, what we need to create after creating VPC? After creating internet gateway, very good. So create internet gateway and attach it to the VPC. Yes. By default, when you create internet gateway, it will not be attached. So unless you attach, the internet gateway will be ideal. So create an internet gateway and attach to the VPC. Number 3. What is the third thing? Public and private subnets, correct? So create public and private subnets. Very good. Number 4. Create NAT gateway. Wow. Create NAT gateway. So NAT gateway should be in which subnet? NAT gateway should be in public subnet. Super. What is the next step? Next thing. Create routing tables. Create public routing table. In this public routing table, all traffic is routed to internet gateway. And which subnet is associated? Public subnet is associated. Very good. 6th step. Next, create private routing table. All traffic is routed to NAT. And which one? Private subnet is associated. Guys, understood? Understood? Super clear? Okay. Now, what we do is, okay. Now you are here, GT. Now where are we? We are here now outside in the internet, right? We are here now with our laptop in the internet. Yes. So tell me, if I want to connect, is it possible for me to connect directly to the private subnet from my internet, from my laptop, where we are in the internet? 100% not possible. 100% not possible. So if you want to connect to the public subnet from your laptops, can you connect it? Yes, we can connect it. Guys, from your laptops, okay, you can connect to the public subnet, or you can connect to the EC2 instances which are in the public subnet. Yes, we can connect. That's what we are doing it till now, correct? Okay, now how do I connect from my laptop from outside? How do I connect to my private subnet? Is it possible to connect to the private subnet? No. So for this, what you need to do is you need to launch one EC2 instance in public subnet. you need to launch one EC2 instance in public subnet. So that EC2 instance is called Bastion server or Jump server. What is that called? Write down. Bastion server or Jump server. Bastion server or Jump server. You can call it as Bastion or Jump server. So if you want to access the private subnet, simply what you need to do, simply you connect from your laptop, you connect to the EC2 instance, this EC2 instance, and from this EC2 instance, you connect to the private subnet. That's how you should go. That's how you should go. Do you all understand? Do you all understood, guys? Till here? If you want to connect from internet, from your laptop, from outside to public subnet, you can directly connect. You have launched an EC2 instance, right? And you're doing it. But whereas if you connect to the private subnet, then you should go with the Bastion server. Okay, let me take, someone is asking real time. So guys, here in real time, tell me, you will be sitting inside the internet or you'll be sitting inside the company? You will be inside the company, correct? You will be inside the company, and the company will have what kind of network? Private network, correct? You'll have private network. So how do you connect from your company to AWS? We have learned this. How do you connect from the company to AWS? What we have? From your company to AWS, how do we connect? Using VPN, correct? So you'll have AWS VPN will be there. So your company might have set up already a VPN from your company to AWS. So you will be sitting inside the company and you will be connecting using the VPN. VPN will be there already and you will be. Now tell me, if you're sitting inside the company, will you go all the way to the Bastion and come and connect to the private subnet? So this is VPN, meaning directly you can connect to the private subnet. So this VPN is private to private, correct? This VPN is private to private, correct, guys? This VPN is private to private. Okay, that is in real time. You should be doing like this. And there is also nowadays work from home option, correct? You have work from home. So if you are at home, then what do we do? If you are at home, from your home, first of all, you need to connect to your company VPN. Yes or no? First of all, you need to connect to the company VPN. Company VPN. So here you need to connect to the company VPN. Once you connect to the company VPN, so indirectly you will be inside the company and all the traffic will be going through this VPN. It will go and hit it here. Guys, this is number one is the first scenario. Number two is the second scenario. And this is number three is the third scenario. Now you tell me in real time, what are the scenarios that you will be using it? 1 and 2. That is in the real time. But as we are learning, do we have this kind of setup, 1 and 2 setup? We don't have. For that reason, which scenario that we should be using it? We are using it. So the third one. Understood now? The first one is your actual real time. The second one is work from home to AWS, right? And third one is learning, what we are learning. So we should be using this jump server concept Then we should be logging into the private server. Now, you have 6 steps, then you have set up the architecture. Now, the 7th step is you need to launch one EC2 instance in public subnet, which is called Bastion server, correct? And then you need to launch one more EC2 instance in private subnet, and then you will be connecting from Bastion to that private subnet, correct? That is the 7th step. The 7th step is launch EC2 instance in public subnet. What is that called? Bastion, and another in private, and try to connect from Bastion to private server. Guys, understood 7th step? Okay, understood. And important thing, guys, this NAT and IGW are not servers, or are services, not servers. This NAT gateway and internet gateway are services, guys, not servers. Remember, not servers. So, is it possible to log into the NAT? Is it possible to log into internet gateway? No, those are the services from AWS. Like, how do we have load balancer? It's just a service. The same way, the NAT and internet gateway are services from AWS. You cannot log in, or you just need to create and use it. That's it. But previously, in olden days, we used to have. I still remember. I created also. We used to have NAT instance. NAT is a software, GT. NAT is a software. So what we used to do before in olden days meaning few years back, so we used to download this NAT and we will download this NAT and install it on EC2 instance. And that EC2 instance will consider as a NAT gateway. But you tell me, setting up the NAT instance is better or NAT gateway is better? NAT gateway is completely managed by AWS. NAT instance meaning it is outdated, it is managed by you. If you want to take risk, take it. Or if you want to just use NAT, which is managed by AWS, you can use it. Okay. One question for you guys. One question for you here. Tell me, till now we are using default VPC, correct? Default VPC has how many subnets? Default VPC has 3 subnets, correct? Now tell me, all those 3 subnets are public subnets or private subnets or both? Excellent, guys. Excellent. You guys have passed. Most of the batches, they'll put the wrong answer, but you have put the right answer. Very good. So those are all public, right? So you have launched the EC2 instance, but you are able to connect from your internet, from your laptop? Yes. If you're able to connect from your laptop to the EC2 instance, obviously those EC2 instances and those subnets are public subnets. If you have a private subnet and when you launch an EC2 instance, the private subnet, can you connect from internet? From you connect to your laptop? No. Till now, you didn't have that problem. So all these 3 subnets are public subnets. Super. Very happy. Good. Guys, for architecting all these things, companies will hire an architects or consultants and pay lakhs of rupees for this. Now you got to know within, I'm telling you, I bet within 5 minutes or 6 minutes, you can set up the entire VPC by yourself after doing the practicals, because most of them are lagging on the logic. Everyone missed the logic here. But if you follow the order and logic, it will be very, very easy. There is a question, see, from Kamal. If we launch an EC2 instance under private subnet, by default, they'll have private IPs. Guys, if you launch, doesn't matter whether it is private or public, private IPs will be there or not. Did we learn that it's mandatory to have the private IP? Yes, it is. So there is question, Sai Kumar. Sir, it means private subnet has only database services. Whichever you want to make it as private, make it. Yeah. Not only databases, you can have application servers, you can have database servers, can have other any kind of servers where you don't want to expose it. Maximum 99% you don't expose anything to internet except like load balancers, web servers, where you want to expose it to the internet, then go with the public. Otherwise, maximum private. There is a question. Sir, anyone having the elastic IP from the NAT, can they connect to the database server using the EIP? Did we just learn, is it possible to log into the NAT? Shavan, did we learn that? NAT gateways are just services, not servers. I know you can those kind of questions you'll get. That's the reason why I put it this. If you want to connect, right, you want to connect, just you need to go with the EC2 instance. NAT gateway just the services, and it will, and you have public routing table and private. Okay, now there is a question. Okay. Now I don't want internet access in the private subnet. I don't want internet to the private subnet. What should I do? Remove the NAT. So don't create NAT or remove the NAT, you are saying. Very good. So guys, you no need to delete or remove the NAT if you have created. So you can play around with the routing tables here. So here, do you see this? Can you delete this route? Yes. Remove this 0.0.0.0/0, that meaning all traffic, and remove this route. Simple. You no need to delete the NAT gateway. You just remove the route and it's gone. And you add the route, you will get it again. So the thing is here, okay, there is now, but one of the customer come and say to you, hey, I don't need the internet to the private subnet. So simply what you do, you just remove the NAT, you just remove the route out to the NAT. But he says that I want to access AWS services. Right? Okay, thank you, Avinash. So guys, but he says that I want to access AWS services. I want to access AWS services. Can you tell me, can you access AWS services like S3, DynamoDB, all these things without internet? But you need to access AWS services from the private subnet. You understand that question now? He don't want internet access. You thought to remove this route. But he said, I want access to AWS services, not to the whole internet. So till now, what we have learned based on that, we cannot do anything here. So guys, AWS has implemented a feature called VPC endpoints. What is that called? VPC endpoints. Right now, VPC endpoints. VPC endpoints. So what are these VPC endpoints is? It is used to access only AWS services without the NAT. If you don't want to have a NAT and you want to access AWS services, which is the concept that you should use? VPC endpoints. So if you use VPC, if you create VPC endpoint, right, you will be able to access that AWS services without internet. If you go with NAT, NAT will have full internet, whereas VPC endpoints has only AWS services access. Understood? Only AWS services. If you want to access S3, you need to create S3 endpoint. If you want to access DynamoDB, go and create DynamoDB endpoint. If you want to do something, go and create endpoints for each and every service. Makes sense? Is this clear till here? If you understand this paint, that is more than sufficient. Can we have it firewall to allow restricted access? Where? Where? VPC endpoints, basically, it is not inbound, it is going outbound. Yes or no? You're trying to access from private subnet to outside AWS services. So what all the IP addresses that is need to be whitelisted should be automatically get whitelisted by AWS. There is no firewall internet access to the VPC endpoints. Okay. Sir, can you please elaborate IP ranges like /16 and all that? Okay. Let's do that. Is this clear before I go to the topic? Okay. Now let us talk about the topic. So we have a concept called CIDR. Write down. Classless interdomain routing. So, CIDR meaning classless interdomain routing. Classless interdomain routing. CIDR. CIDR. Okay. Okay. Now let me take a real-time example here. Apple cider juice. Okay. So, guys, tell me, whenever now you have a default VPC, you have launched an EC2 instance in the default VPC, and it has got an IP addresses, private IP addresses, correct? Can you tell me those private IP addresses which start with what range? What have you ever observed that IP address with what number it starts? 172 series, correct? It starts with 172.31, correct? 172.31. something will be there. How does the EC2 instance know? How does the AWS or how does the request knows when you launch the EC2 instance, it should start with 172 and 31? So guys, because the VPC has been created using this CIDR block. Do you remember we discussed about in EC2 section, right? About subnets and all. See this. Okay, just consider this is a VPC, not big, it's a VPC. Okay, so when you're creating a VPC, so you need to give the CIDR range. You need to give the range. Example, I'm giving you 192.168.0.0.16. I'm giving this. You need to give this range. What is this? CIDR is nothing but it's a network range. 192.168.0.0. Okay, why sir? Why you take 192? I'm giving example. See, guys, most of the time for our companies, so these are used for private purpose. Which ranges? 192 range, 172 range, 10 range. Can you tell me, guys? Most of the companies, your IP address start with this range, these ranges only. Yes or no? Tell me your company ranges. Right, 100% of the companies they'll have the IP address with 192 series, either 172 series, either 10 series. Guys, rest are all used for public IP. Rest are all used for public. So that's the reason. So guys, and if you ask me, sir, how do I know this entire number? It is not you. There will be a network administrator in your company where he will be giving you this CIDR to create. Because guys, you need to set up a VPN from the company to this AWS, no, to this VPC, no. For that reason, your network administrator from company, they will give the same range of what they have in the company. They'll give this range saying that, hey, please create a VPC with this. You cannot simply chumma go ahead and put your own numbers, because eventually you have a company. From here to have VPN connection should be established, right? It has to be in same range, correct? So he will be giving these numbers, and here 192.168.0.0 is called base IP. What is called base IP, and /16 we call it as subnet mask. What is that called? Subnet mask. So out of this big network, guys, I go ahead and create subnets. Out of this big network, can I go ahead and create my individual subnets, isolated network subnets? Yes or no, guys? Can I create the subnets out of this big range? Guys, we have discussed this in EC2 section, correct? So can I create 192.168 instead of 1.0 instead of 0.0? Can I start with the new range called 1.0 and create a subnet? 192.168 1.0. Can I create this? /24 is my subnet mask. I'll tell you why we need /24. I'll tell you. Guys, can I create this subnet? Can I create another subnet with the 2.0? Can I create another subnet with 3.0? Can I create subnet like 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, like 254 or 55.0? Can we go ahead and create as many subnets we need? Yes, we can. So we will create a subnet like this. And now this subnet is public subnet or private subnet. How do we identify? Now I say I call this as public subnet. I call this as public subnet. I call this as private subnet. How do I call? What basis? Simple. This subnet is routing to internet gateway. Then I call that as public subnet. If this subnet is routing to NAT gateway, then I call it as private subnet. Make sense? And this one I also called as private subnet. Why? Guys, this subnet I'm routing it to NAT, and this subnet can I route to the VPC endpoints? Yes. Each subnet you can throw to different routes. One subnet you route it to internet gateway, and you launch the EC2 instances, which you want public. You launch in that subnet, and you launch the EC2 instance which has to be in private. Go and launch it in this subnet, which is private subnet, which is routing to the NAT. There are few EC2 instances where he don't want internet access, but he want only AWS service access, and create a separate subnet for it and just route it to the VPC endpoints. It's all about routing. Can I have one subnet is associated to one availability zone? We learned this. Yes. Guys, you're getting it. You're getting the architecture, guys. Right? Do you remember? Okay, one subnet is associated to one availability zone. Can you tell me one subnet can be in multiple availability zones at the same time? No. And one availability zone can have multiple subnets? Super. You guys are gems. One subnet should be in one availability zone at the same time. Okay. And one availability zone can have multiple subnets. Okay. Now the question here is, sir, what is this /24/16? So guys, I'll give you one simple logic. So that is used to how many EC2 instances that you need in that subnet. Remember this formula. 2 power 32 minus n. Write down. What is the formula? 2 power 32 minus n. Okay. 2 power 32 minus n. So what is this? So now what is the subnet mask that you're using here? Slash 24, correct? So replace minus n with slash 24 and see how much you get. Let's see. 2 power 32 minus 24. What is 2 power 32 minus 24 is 8. Huh? What is 2 power 8? 256. Guys, 256 you got it. And inside this, you need to remove minus 5. Why you need to do minus 5? I'll tell you. What if you do minus 5? What is the answer? 251. Guys, 251 IP addresses, you will get it inside this subnet map if you go with slash 24. That means indirectly, how many EC2 instances that you can launch inside the subnet? 251 EC2 instances you can go and launch. You understand? So, sir, why you have removed minus 5? Remember, 5 IPs are reserved. How many IPs are reserved? 5 IPs are reserved for each subnet. In each subnet, 5 IPs are reserved. What are those IPs? So, guys, those IPs are .0, .1, .2, .3, and .255. So these IP addresses are reserved because .0 is used for your network. You cannot assign it to the EC2 instance, .0. And .1 is assigned for routing purpose. And .2 is used for DNS purpose. .3 is used for any kind of future related experiments. As right, 255 is used for broadcasting. So these 5 IP addresses, you cannot use it. So these are reserved. That's the reason why you need to take out 5 all the time. You got it? So now you say, sir, is it only slash 24? Can I give slash 20? Yes, you can give whatever number. You can give slash 20. So, but remember, so what is slash 20 meaning here? How many IP addresses you get? You'll do. Slash 20, 2 power 32 minus 20. How much? 2 power 12. What is 2 power 12? 4096 minus 5. How much? 4091. So guys, if you go for slash 20, how many IP addresses that you get? 4091 IP addresses you'll get it. See? Now you go for slash 16. Sir, why you have given slash 16 for the whole entire VPC? Let's do that. 2 power 32 minus 16. What is 32 minus 16? 2 power 16 only, no? What is 2 power 16? I still remember. It is 65,536 minus 5. 65,531. So guys, inside the whole network, how many inside the whole VPC network you will get 65,531 IP addresses you will get it. Do you understand? For whole VPC, what kind of subnet mask that you need to give? For subnets, what kind of subnet mask you should give? Right? So it's not mandatory to go with all 24. It's up to you. If you want in this subnet, you want to very less, go with it. Okay, now guys, whenever in your security group, you select my IP, no? So there you will get slash 32. Remember? What is the slash 32 then? 2 power 32 minus 32, 2 power 0. What is 2 power 0? 2 power 0 is 1. That meaning one IP, your own IP address, one IP address is allowed if it is slash 32. So based on your requirement, you need to go ahead and do the subnet mask. Understood? Understood? Guys, understood till here? Easiest way to learn. Yes, you can. For requirement, you can go for it. Now you know what is ranges now. Now, guys, we will go and create a VPC in real time. How do we create a VPC? With the CIDRs we will learn now. Right? Okay, what is the first step? Create VPC. What is the range that we thought to create as per this? Tell me. 192. Everyone put it 192, 168, 0016 is the one we will create a VPC with this range. Right on? Create VPC 190, 168, 016. What is the second step? After creating VPC, create internet gateway and attach it to the VPC. Right? Guys, create a internet gateway and attach it to the VPC. Next, what is the third step? What is the third step? Create public and private subnet, right? So create public subnet. Guys, what is the range that we thought to create? What is the CIDR that we thought to create for public subnet? 192, 168. 190, 168. 1.0/24. Correct? Correct? Very good. And then fourth step, create private subnet. Correct? What is the CIDR with that for private? We can go with 2.0. Correct? Super. So next, what is the fifth step? Create NAT gateway. Right? Oh, okay, enough. 1.0 to the so I created pub two subnets. You can create multiple things, no problem, but I don't have space, no. So create NAT gateway. NAT gateway should be in which subnet? Yes, public subnet. NAT gateway is in. So NAT gateway need one elastic IP, no? NAT gateway need one elastic IP. Very good. What's the sixth step? Create public RT, right? Public RT. That meaning all traffic 0.00/0 should be routed to routed to internet gateway. Excellent, excellent. And which subnet is associated? Public subnet is associated. Number 7, create private RT. So all traffic is routed to NAT. Private subnet is associated. Super. And also remember, till now we are using default security group, right? For the VPC. So we should not use the default things anymore. We will create our own VPCs. We'll architect everything by own. So now we need to go ahead and create a security group. Let's do that. Create a new security group. Ninth step. Now we'll go and launch EC2 instance. Launch EC2 instance in public subnet. What is that called? Bastion. Huh? And another in private subnet. Correct? Another sample server in private subnet. And what we need to do? 10th step, connect from this Bastion to private server. Connect to Bastion to private server. Got it, guys? Okay, there is question. Let's say someone created the range in such a way that it will have just 4 IPs. First of all, इतना कंजूस क्यों है भाई? Anyone create 4 IPs? Those are free only, no? Why you are going with 4 IPs and expected to have 8 IPs when auto scaling? Come on, कमाल कमाल की बात कर रहे हो भाई. हाँ? तो फ्लाइट में देखो 300 सीट्स है. You have 300 seats. Now you're saying what happened? 400 people come into the flight. अरे कई को चढ़ाना भाई अंदर 400 people को. Oh my god. But you hope you understood, huh? Is it clear, guys? Everyone, the VPC? Didn't I told you that VPC will be simple, even though it's a very scary one? Isn't it simple? Correct, Srikanth. So as we don't have here on-premises setup, so that's the reason why we cannot do VPNs here. But VPN setup from the VPN also. Tomorrow, tomorrow we have a class, guys. And tomorrow there is one concept left, which is called two VPCs can talk to each other by default. No. How to make two VPCs talk to each other? There is a concept called VPC peering. There is a concept called VPC peering. We'll talk about that VPC peering in tomorrow's class, and we'll do the lab on this VPC. Whatever we have learned, we'll be doing the labs on how to set up the VPC from scratch, how to create security groups, how to launch an EC2 instance, how to all these things, and VPC endpoints we'll do, VPC peering, all these things, practicals will be done. Okay. Any questions? Take the screenshots. What is that? This VPN, Varun, I'll help you. Don't worry. But but there is no. Varun is asking, sir, please explain AWS to AWS to Azure on premises, no? And physical data centers to AWS. That's what this is the one first scenario you're saying. For that, we need to have a real time. But I'll share you some references or some notepads with the instructions. Okay, Varun. Okay. You need all these things. Thank you for reminding me. You need roles and responsibilities. You need everything. But feedbacks, yesterday, only maybe 5 more people might have given. And we have bloody how many? 120 people. You are not taking time, at least 5 minutes of time, right, for this entire course and not able to provide one feedback there. And you're asking on top of it so many things. But I'm sure, guys, if you make sure that all you guys have at least 100 people there, put it. Yeah. No. Those who have done, that's good. Thank you, Varun. But yeah. Those who have done given, I have seen it. I loved it. And thank you for your kind words. I was really moved by there are few people, they wrote it from heart. I really, really, really liked it. But I just wanted to see everyone to push there. Yeah. Can you just paste the WhatsApp group link? Once, please. Someone is asking. That everyone should know, no, Varun? That's the reason why you should put it in group. Motivate them. Someone has a group link? Okay, thank you. Copy link. Okay. The admin was asking. What is it, Google Drive? For all the on PPTs, and all these PPTs and all, guys, I'm telling you, notes. This my pains. Right, how much effort I'm putting for these pains, right, and develop those PPTs to make you more understand. So please, 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 my humble request: do not share these PPTs or do not share my, especially my pains, to anyone out of this out of these people. Like we have 120 130 people, no? So that's my hard work, how I'm giving my best to the people. So I don't want this to go well before in hand to the new upcoming guys. So my humble request, hope you understand. Yeah. Super. No, Madhavi. No. But it will be very easy if you go and do it. Okay, so tomorrow we'll have a class and we'll be doing some VPC practicals. And Monday will be the last class. Whatever I think VPC peering and all, whatever we do the